I'm kinda surprised the release of Streets of Rage 4 wasn't a bigger thing, though I guess there weren't that many trailers and beat 'em ups are kinda passe. Granted, I don't think that, but just look at beat 'em ups nowadays. It's a very niche genre, which is a far cry from the arcade staple it used to be. Even still, this is still Streets of Rage, baby, one of the most popular and recognizable beat 'em ups of all time. Anyway, I made a video about this a long while back, I think when it first got announced, and now I feel obligated to absolutely no one to answer the question, does Streets of Rage 4 live up to expectations? Yeah, I think so. It feels like a love letter to the series, and hey, it's pretty fun, and isn't that all you can ask for? But that said, the game is pretty divisive, and if you want to know what side you'll fall on, why don't you stick around for the rest of the video? Please stay, you're all I have left. Yo, and this is probably a good time to say hey to all the new subscribers. We just recently hit 3K subs, and that's pretty cool. Happy to have you here. Alright, now let's get into the video. I've been really thinking about how I should handle looking at this game, but I finally ended up wanting to start with focusing on the thing you'll notice first, the aesthetics, which includes the visuals and music. Funnily enough, this might be one of, if not the biggest departure from the previous games. That is to say, it is very modernized, for better or for worse. Things look smoothed out in higher res, which I'm of two minds about. Initially, I wasn't a fan. In fact, in the other video, I think I said I was iffy on it. The splash art and out-of-game art looked great, and I was unsure of how it would translate, especially with creating something that looked good when it's animated. Also, something Tumblr art probably swayed my opinion too, but that's neither here nor there. But actually playing the game, I ended up liking it. The animations had weight to them, though that might have been because I was playing as Axel, and he's a big dude. Well, not Max or Floyd big, but he's got old man dad strength, and that's gotta count for something. The backgrounds were gorgeous and varied, the art gallery in particular was super interesting, and I like the enemy designs. A lot of them come from the older games, but the new additions are pretty cool, like Kix, or whatever his name is, and the Karate Dude. I appreciate how you can take a glance at them and understand what they're like. Kix, for example, has robo legs and keeps his hands in his pockets, which clearly means he's going to be using his legs a lot, and maybe his head when he wants to break your combo. These two are some of my favorites to fight because I feel like they encapsulate the themes of the game, except the red Karate Dude. Fuck that guy. Side note, I'ma need Estelle and Mrs. Y to destroy me with their thighs. Back to the art. My only gripe with it is that when I play as the older Streets of Rage characters who are pixelated, it makes the art in the game feel weird. And the best way I can describe it is that when I played as Streets of Rage 1 Axel, the black weapon guys started to look like they were straight out of the nut shack, and now I can't go back. I got a better video idea. Streets of Rage playthrough, but every time I get hit, I play the nut shack theme. Yeah, is that too outdated? As for the music, it's actually surprisingly good. It's definitely hit or miss, but the good tracks are really good and the bad tracks are meh at worst. I truly don't get what people are talking about when they hate on the music, but whatever. If you're on the fence, listen to the music in the main menu. That shit is sick and the synth is chill. Mostly, I'm just glad it doesn't sound like that retro 80s synthwave stuff that's all the rage. It's so played out and I'm over it. Anyway, if you're still not feeling the music, there's an option to switch back to the old music, which is pretty cool. Okay, now it's time for the gameplay. Actually, I'll do the story first. Alright, so 10 years after Streets of Rage 3, Mr. X's kids, Mr. and Mrs. Y, want to control Wood Oak City with music, and Axel, Blaze, Adam's daughter Sherry, Adam later, and Zan's protege Floyd go to stop them, but not Max because he's possessed, and who knows what happened to Skate. Alright, boom, that's the story. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's cool to see the older characters again, especially Rue. Why they got him chained up like that? I'm gonna help them. Fuck! Okay, so the gameplay is the most surprising to me because it's not as modernized as I thought it would be. Though after I did some digging, I saw that the devs had no intention of putting modern trends into the game, such as RPG mechanics or things like that. The biggest thing, in my opinion, is that you could juggle enemies in the air, and there are things such as wall bounces that let you continue combos, which you can see a lot of at the end of the underground level and the elevator section of the tower. It feels good when it happens, especially when you look at the older games and it looks like you can continue your hit even though it doesn't work. You can even combo your aerial attacks, which gives you a certain fluidity that's not in the previous games. There's even aerial special moves which give you more tools to shit on people with. You get to maximize your damage and it's satisfying to get some big damage off of it. Bosses in particular feel good to combo on, especially when you're dealing with super armor, which you will deal with a lot. Which brings me to my next point. The older Streets of Rage games, 2 comes to mind in a moment, are all about area control. The enemies move faster and cover more area than you, so you gotta focus on creating space for yourself so you can effectively dodge and assess the situation. That's what the special move is for, and it shows the difference between 2 and 3. In 2, you take damage when you use it, which makes it feel more like a desperation move. When you're ganged up on and you lose control of your space, the super move gives you that space back. Sure, you'll take damage, but I guarantee you will be less than the damage you would have taken after getting passed around by the enemy. In 3, a meter builds as you deal damage, and when it's full, you can use your special move for free. This kind of mechanic incentivizes aggressiveness, so you can get your special off more and skate as fast as fuck, so that's cool. Also, you get upgrades if you don't get hit, so I think that means hit them before they hit you? I don't know, I didn't think that went through enough. In 2 though, it rewards patience more. You can't roll or dash, so you have to work with what you have. And that same principle goes to Streets of Rage 4. There is no running unless you're Sherry or the characters from Streets of Rage 3, and there's no dashing unless you're Adam, so a lot of it is slow walking. And I saw a lot of people complaining about the super armor, but I found a lot of it is that you have to be patient and not hyper aggro all the time. Well, that depends on the person you're fighting. The super armor dissuades you from being aggressive because you can get destroyed a lot like that. And if you get caught up by some goons, you can use a special move. Sure, you'll take damage, but there's an out this time. It becomes green health, which lets you recover if you deal damage. That way you can turn your defense into offense. The bosses turn this up a notch because they have a lot of gap closers and range moves, and you've really got to know the patterns so you can dodge them in a timely manner. The Commissioner is a good example. His grab is quick, but if you know it's coming, you can get to the other side and move vertically to avoid it. But enough of all that. I would be remiss if I didn't break down some of the cons I had with this game. Look, I know it wasn't in the previous game, but why in the world can I not move up or down while jumping? I move faster while jumping, so I jump a lot. Just call me Mario, I jump so much. So you can imagine how many times I got hit because I tried to move up or down quickly. In addition to that, I wish the move speed were a little quicker. It does feel super slow, even if I could theoretically dodge everything with proper planning. What else? The hitbox feels jank as hell sometimes, and moves can be a little stubby. Glacia, the weapons master, shows that off well. And if someone's a little vertically off, I could straight up miss them. It's annoying when you get hit from something you thought you hit. Yeah, but on the note of hitting, I did occasionally do back attacks or star moves on accident because I was holding a button and that messed me up more times than I would like to say. And seriously, fuck the Red Karate guys. That's about it from me for the cons, but those things do add up and happen often enough for it to be grating, especially if they make you lose at a boss, forcing you to redo the level. And this is not necessarily a con, but Axel's Street of Rage 1 version is absolutely busted. The balance is completely off there because they compensated for his lack of moves with damage, and it's a lot of damage. As for the level designs, I said it before, it's pretty varied, though it doesn't get as crazy as the other games. You get things like the prison level, which is cool because you have the cop enemies and they'll actually fight the thugs if you leave them be. The final level in particular is a cool set piece that's different from the other games, but my favorite level ended up being the tower level because I got the slip and slide on the bottom floor. Enemy placements weren't too bad, like there was nothing egregious. The only thing I could think of is when they would put those fat bastards together because they got the biggest buff with way too much super armor. And then there's the Red Karate Kids put together with the enhanced Muay Thai guy. There might be others, but I'm drawing a blank right now. Alright, I'm basically done, but there's one more thing I gotta point out. Streets of Rage 4 is more of a sequel to 2 than 3. Really, it feels like they skipped right over 3. Like, if you haven't played 2 lately, you should go play it again, it still holds up. But when you do that, you'll see how closely this game follows that idea. With that said, if you grew up playing 3 the most, this game will seem clunky, jarring, and unnecessarily hard. And that's fine, but the real annoying thing is that I would see people trash the game for being Streets of Rage 2 Part 2, not realizing that, and then go on to say that they are intimately familiar with all 3 games. Like, quit the bullshit. It's okay to say you're more familiar with 3 and we're looking for the improvements that were in that game. There are for sure problems I agree with that are extremely enhanced if you're looking for the next step from Streets of Rage 3, but if you were a so-called fan of the series, you should be able to appreciate the game for what it ended up being, Streets of Rage 2 Part 2. So what's the point of acting entitled and refusing to adapt to what we got? Yeah, I know. I broke the golden rule of not listening to monkeys on the Steam forums, but I don't know, that really annoyed me. Especially the ones announcing that they're refunding the game, like I should even know who they are. But a personal favorite was someone who claimed they beat the game to lend credence to the shit they were spewing, but if you looked at their achievements, they hadn't even beaten all the bosses. Alright, I'm done. That was uncharacteristic of me, but I had to go off for the one time. Oh, and one more thing, if the game is too hard, just lower the difficulty. No one's gonna make fun of you. Streets of Rage is all about beating up fools, not your controller. Alright, if you made it all the way here and didn't shut me down, you should try the game. It's really fun and it brought back some nostalgia for me. And hey, if you want to play more Streets of Rage 3, you should play the remake if you haven't. Okay, well, you should play the remake regardless because it's really good. I'll put it in the description if you want to try it. And after all that, you should like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It means a lot. Once again, thank you guys for getting us to 3K. That's cool of y'all. And yeah, comment down below your opinion on the game, or Streets of Rage in general, or beat 'em ups in general. And before you practice your grand uppers, have a good day. Okay, no more games. When are we getting a Revenge of Death Adder port?